Welcome back to another video, guys. In today's video, I figured I would do a little just writing chat and do a little chatty vlog and bring you guys up to speed on what my work in progress is. I realized it's been about a year since I've kind of spoken about the project that I'm working on, and so today I wanted to get into it. So if this is something that you're interested, stick around. So my story is a mafia romance that is a second chance, love triangle, crime adjacent world where the heroine needs to choose between loyalty and truth. The three main players in the story is my heroine, Vanessa. She is a nurse who is dating a very wealthy, prominent man, Dr. Cole Winchester. And then you have the antagonist, Diego Salazar, who comes into the scene and kind of blows up Vanessa's world. But he blows up Vanessa's world in a really good way. Vanessa and Diego know each other. They have a shared history. They were dating, they were high school sweethearts. And because of certain circumstances, there was a separation in their relationship. Upon that separation, Vanessa's mother decided to take it one step further and remove her from the neighborhood that both Diego and Vanessa grew up in. This neighborhood is in a fictional city that I have created in my world building called Lakewood. I came up with the concept of this fictional world because of a road that I used to travel on going back and forth when I used to work. That was called Lakewood Road. In order for me to get to a satellite office that I used to work out of a couple of days a week at a local police department, I would have to drive down Lakewood Road. And in order to get to Lakewood Road, I used to also have to drive through one of the most impoverished sections of the city that I worked in. And a lot of the world building came from, traveling down Lakewood Road, going through these very impoverished neighborhoods, and also thought about the larger scale of the city. I was really influenced just from my experiences of living in the Northeast, really drawing upon New York City, the five boroughs, as the building blocks of the world, and adjacent to the neighborhood, the local neighborhoods that I covered working when I was a probation officer. So I took various pieces of places that I've either lived, worked, or visited when I was living in the Northeast in order to create my fictional city of Lakewood. A lot of when I think about the city as a whole, Lakewood, I think about New York City, I think about the five boroughs, and I think about those huge skyscrapers that I used to, see on a regular basis when I would, go downtown and visit the city. When I'm thinking about the smaller, neighborhoods, I'm thinking about places where I lived and worked when I was living and working in Connecticut, and really trying to describe those areas into that setting and really just kind of create all of those elements into making this fictional city and this fictional world. It is a very diverse, multicultural city, and a lot of that is going to be brought into the stories throughout. In my own kind of universe, my own little Lakewood universe, which I'm really excited about. And so, yeah, that's one of the elements of the story that I'm crafting. So both Vanessa and Diego were high school sweethearts. They grew up in the same neighborhood on different blocks, but they became fast friends. They met, there was this mutual attraction, and they began dating. Now, Vanessa always kind of came from a family that was a little bit better off than most in the neighborhood. And because of that, Vanessa's mother was not a fan of Diego. Diego came from a family that was very much into the gang life, very much into criminal activity. And Vanessa's mother saw that Diego was definitely steering in that same direction. So she really tried to put a stop to the growing, relationship between Vanessa and Diego. Fortunately for Vanessa's mother, but unfortunately for Diego and Vanessa, something happened that resulted in the two lovers, just having to go their separate ways. Who are my characters? My main character is Vanessa Cantos. She is the heroine of the story. She's a nurse. She is a loving and devoted daughter to her mother, who is a bit of a narcissist. And Vanessa has always kind of told the line and done what she's been told to do. And then you have the antagonist, Diego Salazar, who is, you know, a former love interest of Vanessa. They were high school sweethearts. They grew up in the same neighborhood together, and because of circumstances that, you know, they went their separate ways. And then, you know, years later, they run into each other and they realize that all of those emotions are still there. But their lives are completely different. And what do you do when you have, you know, Diego, who's the head of a criminal organization, Diego, who is, you know, not a good man according to society? What do you do when you kind of still have all of those feelings? So, you know, in order to speak about Vanessa and speak about Diego, we also need to speak about Cole and his character. You know, Cole represents, you know, the good boy, the boy that society expects the girls to date, who we've been told since we were little girls, like, that's the man that we should strive for. We should strive for safety and security. But, you know, at what cost? Because not everything on the surface is what it seems. And so we're going to see the evolution of Cole as well in this story. So one of the central themes of this story is choice. You know, Vanessa needs to choose. She needs to choose the type of life that she wants to live for herself. Is she going to, you know, fight for what it is that she wants, the future she envisions for herself? Or is she going to choose the safe bet, which is, you know, being in a relationship with Cole and everything that Cole can provide for her? Or is she willing to risk it for Diego, who, you know, is the man that everyone in society says you should not be with? So who's this story for? This story is for anyone who loves a second chance romance, who loves morally brave men, who loves emotional depth over a course of, you know, several books. Not for an individual who wants fast pacing, and it's not for a reader who doesn't like darkness. Like, we kind of get dark in here. We get dark in here. Yeah, it'll be a ride. It'll definitely be a ride. So as always, thanks so much for sticking around and joining me today. I know I didn't go into too much detail about what the story is. I don't want to really give a lot away. I think that's probably one of the most challenging things about doing videos like this as writers, is how much can you give without giving away the whole entire story. So comment down below and let me know which character you're the most interested in learning about. Are you interested in learning about Diego? Are you interested in learning about Cole? Or are you interested in learning about our heroine, Vanessa? And if you have any ideas for a working title, comment that below as well. As always, it's been a pleasure spending time with you and hanging out with you, and I will see you